All right, welcome back, everybody, to the blueprint on how to turn goals into achievement. I am your host, motivational speaker and coach Andres Ruiz. And today we have a very special guest that I've had the privilege of just seeing on social media through some great friends of mine as well. And that's what happens when you have some great friends in your life. You're going to connect with even more great people, amazing people who are doing great things in this world. And that person is here with me today, Aaron P. Scott. He is an author, speaker, and facilitator devoted to character building and mentorship. I love that. And with a passion for experiential learning and leadership development, Aaron is one of the founders of Good Brothers Foundation in Tucson, Arizona, and serves with a number of local community organizations. Aaron came to Tucson from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is a pastor of To Go Christian Church, and he and his wife have a 2-year-old and a baby on the way. Congrats, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Andre. So good to be here, man. And I'm just flattered. I'm honored. You hit the nail right on the head. Those good friends, those good connections, and they will just continue to grow and flourish. Yeah, man. So great to be here.
And I forgot to mention this, but I was watching my friend Sean Campbell, which I'm sure you know who Sean Campbell is. He had a guy on his show, and I was watching this guy, this energy, and I said, I like this guy. I want to meet this guy. And it turned out to be David Camara. So it's so funny how I was like, I want to meet this guy. And I even told my friend John, I was like, I need this guy's contact information, because he just blew my mind the way he was speaking. I was like, this is my people right here. So,
man, he's awesome, brother. He's the co-founder. I know we'll talk about it, the Good Brothers Foundation. But yeah, man, I met him in college, and we were like, it's a funny story how we got connected. But once we kind of sorted through a few things, man, we've just been comrades, brothers in arms. And he does, man. He really has a gift to be able to speak in such a way that, man, it gets to your heart and it gets you thinking and it gets you stirred up. And so, it's been amazing serving with him.
Yeah, and that's when I heard him, I was like, man, who is this guy? This guy is special. Just when I heard him, and I even put it in the comment section to Sean, I was like, I want to meet this guy. Guy's amazing. So that's really funny, man, just how things work. But then I found out that he was, one of the co-founders. So I was like, not surprised when I saw that. So, but Aaron, let's get into it, man. First thing I'd like to ask my guest is just kind of like to brag on themselves a little bit. I want to ask you, what would you say is your superpower?
The superpower. I guess if I had to categorize, man, by God's grace, I would say it's something around just a determination, grit, resilience. It's important to me that no matter what gets thrown at me, that I keep moving forward, and even if I have to slow down sometimes, but just don't stop, regardless of what those obstacles are challenged. So that special power of determination. We're going to find a way or make a way.
Ooh, man.
Gonna get it done.
Dude, man, I love that. And I actually want to start from there, man, because that's so good what you just said right now. For people listening out there that have a challenge with having grit and just having resilience and just not stopping and being determined, like, what would you say has helped you in your life to have those characteristics, to have those values in your life, as a speaker, as as a husband, as a father, all these things? Like, how do you feel that has helped you in your life, and like, what does it take to have that grit, to have that determination?
Sure. I know a big thing for me is my faith. Gives me a confidence, gives me an assurance, and it gives me that kind of light at the end of the tunnel. That there is this hope, there is a destiny and a purpose that was ordained for me that I'm working towards. And I would also say, taking times to reflect and look back over the things that I have gone through and have overcome. I think a lot of times as individuals, as human beings, we through can be tragedies, can be all types of various, traumas and difficulties and challenges. But it's so important how when we come through, right? If we come through, when we look back over that, am I just looking at it like I was a victim, like, woe is me, like, oh, it happened again every time, it never works out? Or am I looking at to find the things that I learned from this, the things that did actually, we were able to accomplish and achieve? And I think taking it one step further, considering the people that were impacted or people that benefited, as I went through something, and I can say, hey, you know what? It was hard. It was difficult, but this is what it led to, not just to help me, but to help other people too.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep, man. It's really great gems that you're dropping right there, man. And, as you're saying that people go through difficulties, challenges, can you tell us a little bit about some challenges that you have gone through in your life, whether it was as a kid or teenager? Can you tell us about that and like what that taught you and how you overcame those challenges?
Sure, man. So I'll walk you through. There were a few kind of, stages, man, where different things were happening. So starting off early, young childhood, I grew up in a house, unfortunately, my father was struggling with alcoholism when our family was young. And so this really created a lot of tension in the house. He was one of those guys, and I'm so thankful. He's been clean and sober now for over 20 years.
Wow.
He's doing amazing. He's fighting, he's pushing, and his work to get clean and to get himself on the right path had such a tremendous impact on our family, on me, and I'm so thankful for that. But those early years were hard, man. Mm-hmm. There was tension, there was fighting, there was a coldness in the house, and I didn't even realize, but it left me with a lot of anger. It left me with a lot of resentment. And what happened for me, I wasn't really able to act out at home because I would get, it was not a good place to be kind of bucking the authority system. Okay. Even though I did sometimes knock my head against that wall, but what I started to do is acting out in school and acting out in other places where, I thought I had a little bit more freedom and flexibility. But really what I found out later, and I was going through counseling and therapists and stuff like that, this was a cry for help. This behavior, where I'm acting out, where I'm starting trouble, where I'm, breaking rules, cutting school, all these kinds of things going on, Yeah. And then as I get older into middle school, high school, unfortunately, if you don't change your direction, you might start getting good at doing bad, So that starts to graduate as well, you become more comfortable, and now you're building a network doing those things, and you're navigating your way through the path that maybe you didn't have any business being on in the first place. Wow. So I experienced those things, man. Drugs, alcohol, being promiscuous, man. I'm thankful that I made it through that stage of my life, and then, as you said, kind of like going through the progression. So that's when I was young. I started to get my head on straight, man. I got in some trouble. I was on probation. I started having kind of these like moments of clarity, getting clean and sober and getting focused. I'm in college, man. Things are going great. I've been getting back involved in church. The relationship was healing with my parents and my family. It was a Wednesday night, August 2009. I was working as a valet driver, and I'd just gotten off my shift. I was waiting for the subway to go catch. They had dollar tacos. I was going to go enjoy. Man, long story short, on my way to the subway, I got robbed from my cell phone, and I got shot in the stomach.
Oh, man.
And it's crazy. I'm like, in this time where things are turning around, I'm making progress. And then it's like there's another major setback. Wow. I get shot in the stomach. By God's grace, a police officer heard the shot around the block, came and picked me up, put me in the car, took me to basically what is like an urgent care.
Yeah. From
there, within 1 hour, I was on the operating table at Temple University Hospital. They did over 20 hours of surgery on me.
Oh, wait.
I was in the hospital now for another month, and I had to wear a colostomy bag for a better part of a year. So, you talk about, man, you had a tough kind of upbringing, but then things start getting better. Yeah. And then another major obstacle is kind of right there waiting around the corner, But one thing I can say is that coming through that, you know, I was laying in that hospital bed and I'm looking out the window and I literally, man, I had to get bathed. I had to get clothed. I couldn't do anything for that first few weeks. I'm looking out the window and I see people getting up, you know, living their lives, hustle and bustle back and forth. And it reminded me like, wow, man, you know, the game doesn't wait. Like the show doesn't stop just because you have a situation.
Wow.
And at first I got bitter, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I started to realize, hey, you know, if people are all living their life, they're all going about their, you know, their daily activities at the same time as they may not care, there's also nobody here to stop you from doing what is on your heart to do. You can go forth and do it because we're all out here just doing our thing. And so for me, coming through that experience, getting hurt like that, facing that kind of a tragedy, and even in, you know, it was a young man that ended up shooting me. It was a 19-year-old guy. He was actually on like a crime spree at the time.
Wow.
So it started to make me think, hey, you know what? If I came through this, I'm still here, then there's a purpose for me. And I want to use this experience to help now motivate me and give back, engage with other young men, hopefully so that these type of things don't have to happen again. Wow. Use my experience, right, to try to empower and uplift others and prevent this type of thing from continuing.
Ooh, man, thank you for sharing that, man. That's extremely powerful. And I just want to acknowledge you and praise you for your willingness to not give up, man. And to, instead of looking at this as a, you know, like a tragedy, you looked at it as a blessing. And that just really touched my heart, man. Just wow, like just going through so many experiences like that. And finally, you're getting back on your feet. You're starting to go to church and be a better man. And then boom, that happens. What you could have done is you could have been bitter and then said, you know what? I guess maybe like this is just all a lie. Like I'm just gonna go back to my old ways. But no, you decided to, you saw something, you saw a purpose, you saw something there. Tell us a little bit about like what happened after that. Like what did you start doing and what did you start seeing that you were saying, you know, maybe this is my purpose or this is what I want to do. What did you start doing after that?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things, Andres, it was so humbling. You know, and when I talk about humbling, I'm talking about like this, where you're physically humbled. Like it's one thing to be, you know, kind of like mentally, okay, yes, I'm going to kind of like humble myself and allow, you know, the leader or the coach to direct me. This was humbling in a sense where, you know, like I said, for a time there, I couldn't even bathe myself.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I was an athlete. I never even really broke a bone. So to have such extensive damage, you know, I was out of school for a whole semester. I didn't even get to go back until the following year. You know, getting up, just the regular things, getting in and out of the car to go to doctor's appointments, getting up out of the bed, you know, to go to the bathroom, like all these different things just really humbled me. And it gave me time to think about and appreciate those gifts that I did have and those abilities that I did have and that I once took for granted. Wow. And it opened up my eyes to say, man, you got these gifts, you've got these abilities, you've got these opportunities and connections. Man, what are you doing with them? And how are you using what you have to serve and to build and to help create pathway for others? And so as I start to see this in a different way, now I start to say, you know, I gotta put something together, man. I have to be able to organize some of the thoughts. I'll be able to tell some of the stories and be able to share some of the tools in a way that is consumable, in a way that is engaging, in a way that that people can pick it up and hopefully that what gets developed can live on even after me. And so that's what I started working towards, man, trying to think with a bigger lens, bigger than just my own situation, realizing that if I have this opportunity and platform, how am I using it? And putting those things together so that it could go forth beyond even my own personal life.
Love it. And in regards to all that, you know, all these ideas, like how did you start those ideas and how did those ideas start coming to life? Like, what did you do? Was it speaking or where did it all start?
Sure. So it's wild when I look back on it, actually, it's one of those things where over your life, you're actually being prepared for stuff before you even realize it, right? Okay, you know
Yeah,
exactly
man.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
My first job, eighth grade, I was a camp counselor. I got recruited by a math teacher, and it was neat too. This math teacher was an awesome guy, Mr. Dwayne, and I was probably a bit of a handful in his class, but he was a strong leader. He was a great teacher, and he was somebody that could see potential in somebody and see beyond maybe some of the surface things or beyond the rough edges. And so he invited me to serve as a camp counselor. And it's such a powerful thing. I've seen it happen time and time again when the person that actually needs some mentorship, when you perhaps put them in that position to be a mentor and to share and encourage, that challenge, it caused them to raise to that level, you know, of expectation. So that was something that he did for me. And that's where it started. After that, camp counselors, after school programs, you know, I studied health and physical education. So student teaching and working in schools, community centers, churches, participating in all these different ways, teaching, speaking, you know. It was actually, I'm there in college. I joined a fraternity that was about, you know, education, scholarship, uplifting, serving the community. Through that experience, how I actually met David. We talked about him, David Kamar. And man, I'll tell you, it was 2012. We're back in Philadelphia still. Hurricane Sandy. Okay, this catastrophic, devastating event. We're there, we're living in an apartment building. We're like RAs, so you like work there, live there, take care of the residents. The storm is raging, all the power is out. You know, so we're all hanging out, you know, candlelight, people just, you know, trying to pass the time and make the most of it. Well, man, it was there in 2012 by candlelight that we kind of that idea of the good brothers was born. Wow. He does the same type of stuff. He likes to build people. You know what I mean? You heard him speak. You know how engaging and inspiring he is, you know? And not only does he talk about it, he lives it. And so we linked up in that way. And we're there talking, coming up with ideas. Hey, you're doing this, I'm doing this, man. We should do something. You know? What about this? What about that? And we come up with this idea for the good brothers, growing to overcome the obstacles of our destiny. You know, and I won't tell his story. I'll let him share it, but he has his own story, just like we all do, right? Yeah. But we agreed that, hey, we both have a destiny and a purpose. We know that every young man we believe has a destiny and a purpose. Every person does. But we also know on the other side, hey, there's going to be some challenges along the way. I always joke around. It's not a little skip down the yellow brick road. Yeah, it's going to be some things, internal things. I love how, you know, I believe in myself, right? There's internal things. I gotta deal with that in my heart. And then there's external things as well. But if we're committed to grow, I believe that we can overcome all those obstacles, all those challenges, be them internal or external. And we will go forth to accomplish that destiny and that purpose we were created for.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. And you know, as you're talking more about purpose and our destiny, where we're going, because I get this from a lot of my clients that they tell me, I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know how to find my purpose. You know, for people out there that are stuck, that are thinking, what is my purpose? Like, what was I meant to do? What advice would you give those people who are struggling, who are feeling stuck in this world?
Sure. Struggling with feeling stuck. First, I just want to encourage everybody that's listening. I want to share this little kind of principle, this little nugget, you know. It's this idea that you might not have everything you need to complete that journey or that vision, but you have exactly what you need to get started. Man. And if you're willing to get started, the rest of what you need is along that path. Ooh, right? The people, the experiences, you know, the know-how, being able to connect those dots. You know, maybe you come across a situation you didn't even realize. I love this idea that says, you know, you don't really know how strong you are until you have to be strong. You don't really know what you have inside of you. You know what I mean? Until it's kind of like, dang, the walls are closing in and I got to figure something out. I got to make something happen. To where now stuff is coming out of you. Dang, I didn't even know I had that in me. You know, so I would definitely say that I want to encourage in that way. And hey, you might not have what you need to complete it right now, but you have what you need to get started. The rest is along the way. And the other thing I would say, hey, take some time maybe to just reflect and recalibrate and refocus wherever you are today in your life. Okay, you done been through a lot already coming to this point. And by God's grace, you have a lot in front of you. So let's take a moment and reset. And I always like to encourage people, think about, hey, what are the things that, what is something when you look into the world, this thing kind of breaks your heart when you see it? For me, it's a lack of leadership and leadership development. And that's why I end up working in that space. But what is it for you? It's different for everyone. I met this young man a few years back. He said, everybody's eyes cry for something. You're absolutely right, brother. I don't care if it's environmental. I don't care if it's, dealing with people. I don't care if it's technology. I don't care if it's economics and finance, whatever you're into. And whatever you see, and you're like, man, I wish that was better. I wish that was more accessible. I wish that was more innovative. That thing, now I want you to hold that. And now think about what are the gifts, the experience, the knowledge that you have, the abilities that you have, right? Your personality, your makeup, those things that you do that people are like, man, how do you do that? And you're just like, that's just me. That's just where, it's based off of So now can we take that thing that breaks our heart, start to couple it with those gifts, those abilities, those talents that we have? How can I use those things to address that thing that breaks my heart? I would encourage folks to start there if you feel like you're stuck. And it may not turn into like a full-time, man. I'm blessed and encouraged, man, by knowing what you're doing, right? On full-time. I'm serving in your passion. But I know you didn't get there the first time you had an idea, then it went just right. But, yeah, big time, no. But hey, start working towards it once again. It may, and your passion may end up having to be part-time at first while you're taking care of other things. But if you keep going, there will be opportunities to monetize. There will be opportunities to grow. There will be opportunities to develop. And if you keep moving, you can get there. These are some things I would share with them.
Oof, man, right there, you just gave like a little mini masterclass right there, bro.
Hey,
so good. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I loved it, man. And just seeing out there how there's so many people out there suffering that are just like crying out for your abilities, for your skills. And because we focus so much on our fears and our insecurities, we don't give ourselves the space to just, I love what you said, reflecting and just seeing like, wow, like what have I learned? What do I have to offer? Because a lot of people don't think. And that's something that I learned from, and I know this is from the Bible, but I learned this from Earl Nightingale, that he said, men simply don't think. And when you don't think, you can't create ideas. And thinking is one of the greatest skill sets that you could have in this world. And I love what you said about just that reflecting is such a powerful tool if used. So, I'm glad that you do that for yourself and for all these young gentlemen. So tell us just like a little bit about like this great organization that you have, nonprofit, who it serves, what, maybe if you could share a story about like that you've seen some great things that have happened, please share that with us.
So the Good Brothers Foundation, we believe that every single person is God's masterpiece, that they were created for good works that God prepared in advance for them to do. And we believe that saying, okay, prepared in advance, we're saying that's like a destiny. That's a purpose. You're here for a reason, Now we believe that for everybody, but we do want to focus specifically on young men and share that message with them. We understand that, look, you may have never heard that before. People may have told you the opposite of that, there could have been various reasons why you might have been on a path, to success and positivity, and somehow an event or a detour or something took place and got us off. But our heart is to reclaim our brothers and say, no, man, you're created for more. You got a purpose, That's our heart, man. And then we realize, okay, there's this reclamation piece, but there also may be a restoration that's needed. Once again, if somebody never learned, they might have to be taught.
Yeah,
We
man.
might have to, be able to hear some stories and learn from the experience of others. So we're a ministry to men to reclaim and restore our brothers, you know? And so what does that look like? So myself, I'm an author. David is a speaker and aspiring author. And we said, how can we be taking what we know, our experiences, and putting them together in such a way that others can learn from it? So that's what we started doing, writing. We're creating workshops. We've created workbooks, events and programs that young men can come be a part of, right? That we can celebrate you, that we can engage with you, that we can teach, that we can build, right? That we can just have a fun time and make memories, build community.
I love it.
And so what we've been doing is just that. We're building, we're reaching out. We got some special events coming up right now. But it's really powerful, man. And I think in terms of one story, I can share about a brother called Mark. And we got connected with him through the Gospel Rescue Mission. Okay. So we work with basically 18 and up, and then we have partnerships that help address kind of younger ages. But we connected with him through the Gospel Rescue Mission. And it was just through teaching and engaging and offering some of our workshops, that he began to kind of like express some interest, say, hey, this is pretty cool, man. I would like to know more about this. And from there, we just started building, And so since that time, now we've been able to see him and support him graduate through his program there at the Gospel Rescue Mission. And we've even started to see where, brothers will start to reach out, man. He started reaching out with some really deep stuff that he was going through. And what that tells me is that one, that you trust us, two, that you think that we have something that can offer and help, and that's important to me because it's one thing to think that we offer it, but it's another thing for people to receive it and feel like it's available to them, So when he reached out and he's connecting with us and we're able to pray together, we're able to encourage, we're able to say, hey, let's grab a bite to eat, or hey, come on over here, we're getting ready to do this thing, and that relationship just continues to blossom.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's so beautiful. And just to kind of like close things out, share with us the event that you have coming up and anything else that that you want to share where people can support you. Give us your email, your number, where people can donate to you and the event that you have coming up. Share everything, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we are so excited. So excited, man. Strengthening Community Young Men's Leadership Symposium, right? We believe that young men will do better when they have the support of other men and of a community around. We believe that they will be more successful when they have the support of other people. So what we're coming together to do, man, this is going to be Saturday, May the 13th. It's going to be at the Desert Diamond Casino. It's a full day event. And our heart is to celebrate young men that have graduated high school. This is a huge achievement. And we don't want to look it over. We don't want to take it for granted. And we also don't want to say, hey, great, you graduated. Now go figure it out. Go off to college, go to the military, go get a job. We don't
I remember that.
Right? Okay, we're done. Okay. So we want to celebrate young men. We also want to take an opportunity to pour into, to sow positivity, to model healthy masculinity for these young men.
Yes. Yeah.
We also want to now invite you into, right, and create availability, create access to a network of men that care about you. Of men that have been through the things that you've been through, right? Just mentors that can now help you navigate both your personal, your professional, help you sort through it. Because once again, we believe that these guys are going to be more successful if they have a supportive community. And one of the biggest ways, man, that the community can help, right? If people are interested in volunteering, mentoring, absolutely. The biggest thing for this specific event that I just want to put this call out to everybody that's listening. If you could help us, we want to fill the room. We're going to have a closing ceremony where we just, we got some real special things planned for the young guys, but we want to fill the room with supporters. We want to fill the room with community so that when those guys walk across the stage and we take an opportunity to applaud them and to celebrate them, I want that room in the Desert Diamond Casino to be shaken. Right, with all the love, with all the adoration, with all the support of the community, and it was so powerful. I was talking to a brother about this over the weekend, and I was sharing with him what we're getting ready to do. And he immediately went into a story about he was maybe high school age, middle school, high school, but he got some accomplishment or achievement, right? He didn't go into detail what it was about, but he had something he was really proud of, and he took it home, to share with his family. They really didn't care about it. They really weren't that excited for him, And this is a grown man, telling me about how that really crushed his spirit. And when I hear those stories, I'm like, that's exactly why we're here to celebrate these young men. That's exactly why I do what I do. When I've worked with people, it's been the young men that you might not have even have thought that you were getting through to him. But you kept showing up, you kept sowing seeds, you kept speaking life, you kept holding the bar, you kept encouraging them. And then a year later, 2 years later, they come back to you saying, man, you remember when you, right? So listen, brother, for that, and I'm getting chills right now, right?
You, man, me too, bro.
Because I am willing to, no matter what, even if it's only that one man, that one young guy that gets encouraged, I'm willing to keep showing up and doing this. No matter what, and connect with others that'll do the same, man. So you can connect with us, the Good Brothers, Foundation.org. Okay. Go on there, learn more about it, check out a few videos, hear some more of our story. There's opportunities on there to donate. There's opportunities, general donation and giving, monthly supporters, also really just focusing on this specific event. We're looking to sponsor about 150 boys graduating from high school to come to this event at the Desert Diamond Casino, where we got industry leaders and speakers, peers, community leaders coming to pour into them and invite them into a brotherhood. And so anything that people can share to help make that a success, it's not even just like a donation. We're talking about investing in your community, investing in the young men, right, that are ultimately going to shape our families, our communities, our marketplace in years to come. You can reach me if you wanted to reach out directly, Aaron.Scott at thegoodbrothersfoundation.org. We'll be glad to get connected there and see how we can support this event. See, hey, maybe if you have similar events or similar type of mission and purpose, we're always here for partnership and collaboration. Man, those things would be tremendous. But again, that biggest piece, if nothing else, come on out. It'll be that last hour, like 3 o'clock. Just pull up to the Desert Diamond Casino.
I'm gonna be.
We'll have sides, man. Come on in and let's celebrate these young men. And Andre, so I'm getting fired up. The last thing I'm going to say.
Please bring it.
We're dealing with a school to prison pipeline. Okay, this phenomenon where we have and there's a variety of factors that lead to that, right? But I just want to talk about the fact that you have young men that are now dropping out of high school, and getting into, lives of violence and crime and addiction, et cetera. And they're finding themselves in institutions. They're finding themselves incarcerated. And it's literally coined that phrase, the school to prison pipeline. And it is flowing with young men, right? So even if this is just a thing that says, hey, there's this awesome event for graduating high school seniors, even if that's the only motivation for you to graduate, let that be one of the impacts that this has, as an incentive. So there's just so many angles that we're looking at this from. This is the inaugural event. So by God's grace, it will be going on into the future, and it's only going to get bigger and better each time. And then if we're able, right, and if this catches fire in the community like it has in our hearts, we believe that this is going to spread to other cities. Absolutely. And to other states. And by engaging young men, we can impact entire communities. By impacting entire communities of men, women, and children, we can impact the world. And so this is our heart.
Man, thank you for sharing that. And then it's already in your mind. So, whatever you put in your mind, it's going to be in your hand, man. So I can already see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, thank you so much for what you do, man. I really appreciate you, man. When you were talking about those young men and when they tell you like 1, 2, 3 years later, man, that's exactly what I was talking about to some people today. And just, man, the impact we make is far greater than, you know, than just like the type of like opportunities that we get, the money, that impact. Whew, man, nothing like it. But Aaron, I just want to say thank you again for being on the show, brother. I appreciate you. I support you. I will be there to cheer on those kids. And anybody listening, please just go out there. Like he said, just pull up for the last hour, cheer on these young men so that they can see that there's people that don't even know them, but they care. They care about them. So I just want to say thank you for everybody who tuned in to the Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement podcast. We will be seeing you on the next one. Have a great day. Peace.